What's going on everyone? My name is Kit. Hello, it's me, Future Kit. I just wanted to say this video wasn't planned, so a few things I say might not make sense. All you gotta know is that I was planning to do YouTube again, and I already have a few videos recorded that I'm gonna upload later. But yeah, enjoy the video. And I just want to take out some time to talk about this new trailer that just dropped from a new game called Dragon Ball The Breakers, which is apparently a new Dragon Ball project that Bandai Namco is working on. It's made by Dimps, so it's from the same company that made Xenoverse, and as far as we can tell, it's a asymmetrical survivor horror type of game, but it's not really horror because obviously Dragon Ball isn't really a horror franchise. But if I compare this like directly to some games that we've seen before, I'd most likely say something like Dead by Daylight, and I'm pretty sure you'll know that name if you're familiar with like survivor horror. And another name that I've actually not heard anyone else say is Evolve. I don't know if you guys remember this game called Evolve that came out like, I think it was years and years ago, maybe 2013 back in the day. And the reason why it reminds me of that is if you look somewhere over here, you can see Cell transforming. I'm looking for the part where he transforms so I can show it off. If you're like familiar with this game called Evolve, you could, as the monster, you could walk around and evolve, which was actually the like core mechanic of the game for the monster. And it seems like Cell can do that too. Now, I've seen a lot of people ask on social media, will we only get Cell or are we gonna get more DLC characters? If you look, I'll put a picture up on the screen, if you look at the main art of the game, you can already see Frieza and Boo on the cover art as well. Or I don't know, it'll probably be the cover art, I think so. But you can already see Frieza and Boo. And since every character in Dragon Ball kind of has their own transformations, it'll be really cool to see how they'll transform as like the monster in the game that hunts these survivors down. Now, we haven't seen all too much gameplay yet. We've seen small little tidbits of it. We've seen like that Cell starts off as this like little cocoon self and then evolves, which again, if you've played Evolve, you'll exactly know how that works. And it also has other elements that just remind me of Dead by Daylight, where you're like different survivors that run around. I'm really curious how they're gonna do that. If you're kind of familiar with survival horror games, the thing that's unique kind of about Dead by Daylight is that the survivors cannot really do much against the killer. Like, they cannot kill the monster, which means that the only thing they really can do is like keep him off for a little bit longer by throwing down stuff, by blinding the killer. But from what I'm thinking, when it's in the Dragon Ball universe, you have to like have some kind of way to fight back, right? And here at the end, we see something that Oolong does, and he shoots his rocket at Cell. And I'm gonna assume that with all these things we've seen, we've also seen like a time machine or spaceship here where Oolong flies away. And I'm thinking maybe we're getting all these types of power-ups that we can use to get away from like the monster, which is going to be like Cell or other enemies. So I'm wondering if we can also attack it. Now, I've never really seen a game pull this off well, and not to be rude towards Bandai Namco, because they make amazing games like Xenoverse and stuff. When they try out different sort of games that have never been tried before, like let's think of Battle of Z, for example, they don't always nail it on the first try, so I really hope that it does get like balanced well and stuff, because it really does sound so much fun, you know? The thing is, I know this is probably alpha stuff, so the gameplay that you see will probably not be final. I've seen so many people complain, and I don't know if this is in other communities as well, but mainly the Dragon Ball community, whenever a new game comes out, and especially when Fighterz came out back like a few years ago, people were immediately like jumping on this like bandwagon of like, oh, it's a mobile game, like this looks like a mobile game. No, it doesn't. It looks freaking beautiful, by the way. I'm not talking about this game, which also looks cool, but I'm talking about Fighterz. And this time, what I'm seeing a lot is people are not liking how it looks. And I have to admit, to a certain extent, like when you see the gameplay, it doesn't look all that polished, right? I can see that. I can see what you mean, because I do agree with that. But first of all, you have to realize that this is just alpha stuff, and we haven't even gotten a beta yet. They did say it's coming up. We don't have any details on that. But secondly, personally, I'm totally fine with that. Since it's a Dragon Ball game, it's an anime game, it's never gonna be as high as the AAA stuff. I'll be fine with it as long as the game is fun, you know? Kakarot, we really got those amazing graphics in. Same with Fighterz, it was so accurate to the anime. It was absolutely beautiful. So I'm totally fine with taking a step back on the graphics and more focusing on this multiplayer aspect of the game and just having a cool match to play. As you know, I've recently really been into Dead by Daylight. I'm trying to upload more and more Dead by Daylight stuff. whether it's tutorials, tips and tricks, also lore stuff. So I've been really into Dead by Daylight, and just this game happens to come out now and happens to be announced now. I'm actually really excited for it. I can totally understand why people that are a fan of Dragon Ball and fan of fighting games, why they aren't as excited for it. But personally, especially because I've been playing Dead by Daylight so much, I'm super excited to have some sort of similar asymmetric game but with Dragon Ball characters. The only thing that I've really been thinking about, which is like, how are they gonna incorporate main characters into this, right? I mean, obviously Bulma and Oolong and Cell, they're all main characters, but when you think about the main selling point of Dragon Ball, like when you think of games like Dokkan Battle where they really, you know, you can really see which characters are popular because they just sell well, and when you look at the anniversaries where you see Gogeta and Goku and Vegeta all the time, this game, I'm like, how can you incorporate characters like that, like Goku and Vegeta, without not breaking the immersion? I mean, obviously, there are some immersion issues when you think about how Cell could probably flick Oolong and Oolong would be gone, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like, it would be kind of strange to have, like, Goku run around as a survivor when he could probably beat Cell, you know? Stuff like that. So, are they just not gonna incorporate characters like Goku and Vegeta? Because the other way around, I've seen some people say that they could probably include Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, and just same characters in general as killers or monsters or whatever you want to call them, which I don't know how they do that. They're not gonna go around and destroying the city, you know? When you think about Saiyans, you can think of like characters like Broly. They could easily be like the one that hunts the survivors down, which could you imagine how dope that would be? Like, imagine being able to run around, even if it's just Earth, but I'd much prefer like the city they fought Broly in the first movie. Imagine running away, like being scared to death that Broly's gonna come hunt you down. That'd be so dope. That'd be so incredibly dope. I've seen people say that they want to see Goku Black, which, imagine that. Imagine being in the future realm, being in the future timeline, and like playing around while you see Zamasu, Goku Black just destroying the city, trying to run away from them. Or if you're familiar with Dead by Daylight, you'll know that there's generators to do, and like survivors have to spend a certain amount of time repairing these generators, which that's the way they win, they escape, you know? But in this game, I really wonder what the objective is going to be for the survivors. Are they going to have to fight back? Are they going to be able to beat the like monster or Cell or Boo or Frieza or whoever is fighting? Or do they also have to escape? Like, that's really something that I am curious about, because, for example, in Evolve, if you're familiar with that game, the monster would grow stronger and stronger, and eventually they'd be almost too strong to beat. So the longer the survivors would take to hunt the monster down, it would kind of turn around and the monster would then hunt the people down. And in this game, I wonder if it works the same, because you saw that Cell... Hold on a second. The flying that Cell does here, his animation really reminds me of just Xenoverse type flying, you know? It's almost... like, not to be like negative about it, because I don't really care, but it's almost as if they reused the same assets from Xenoverse, which I don't mind, but I just noticed that. I really cannot wait to find out like what the objectives will be and like what the characters are really going to be, or what characters they'll be bringing to the game. They'll probably start out with just Frieza and then probably Cell and Boo, from what I'm thinking anyways. But if it's gonna be popular, who knows, maybe we can get so many new characters. Now I'm actually I'm getting myself excited because I'm like thinking of all these ideas. But yeah, just a little bit of advice. You don't have to take it, but take everything you see with a little bit grain of salt. Just don't pull too heavily on it, because again, not only is it just alpha, but even if it wasn't, and this will be the final type of gameplay, it doesn't always have to look super polished and super clean and super beautiful for it to be fun. Think of Dead by Daylight, for example. It's not the most beautiful, graphically amazing, intense game, but it does, like, you can have so much fun with it. And especially imagining something like that with a Dragon Ball twist on it, yes please, like, sign me up, because imagine just playing with your friends, just the idea I just mentioned. Imagine playing with your friends, having a few friends over and just playing together, trying to walk through the destroyed city of like the first movie from like Broly and stuff, and like knowing that Broly is somewhere around there and that he could mess you up real good, but that like you don't know where he is. He could be coming for you, he could be somewhere on the other side of the map. It's just, it sounds so cool to me. So please go easy on the game right now, or I totally understand if you don't like it, but try to see past that it doesn't look as graphically appealing as some games, and try to also just imagine how much fun it could be being in the situations. I will definitely keep everyone updated on this game, because at first I was really having the idea of like switching to Dead by Daylight content and mostly uploading about that, because I've really been trying to be consistent with uploading, but now since this game is coming out and since it's kind of in the same trend as Dead by Daylight, I think I'm gonna start covering this game too, because as everyone knows, I'm a huge anime fan, and especially a huge fan of Dragon Ball, and just hearing about like a game that's similar to Dead by Daylight coming out just as I start uploading content about Dead by Daylight, I'm just super excited. I'm happy. So we'll see what comes out in the next few weeks to months. If you ask me, I'm guessing that it will be like a mid 2020 release day, because they didn't really say anything, just said 2020. But since they already showed off quite a lot, and it's not just a tease, it's a full-on trailer, I'm guessing we'll get it somewhere early or mid 2020, which I'm super excited about, especially because we're having a beta coming soon, which I'll definitely cover as well. Stay tuned and make sure to subscribe and like the video if you want to keep up to date to when that'll be. The moment that they announce some sort of info about when that beta will be, I'll upload a video. So again, make sure to subscribe, and if you want a notification when that happens, make sure to hit the bell icon. And thank you guys for watching. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are excited as well, and if you aren't, maybe try to look past again that it doesn't look all too beautiful, but if this is just not your type of game, then I'm sure that the year after we'll get another game that you might enjoy. Who knows, maybe it'll be Xenoverse 3, maybe it'll be a remaster of some other game. Speaking of that, let me know what you would love to see for a Dragon Ball game. Is this exactly what you wanted? Or would you rather have had Xenoverse 3 or some sort of remaster? Because who knows, maybe we'll get that after this. But I'll keep you guys updated. I'll talk to you in the next video.